Welcome, celebrating you, and I am absolutely delighted to bring you Diana Morgan. A very warm welcome, Diana.
Thank you. I run a business called EcoStepByStep, and I sell all kinds of eco-friendly, healthy, natural, organic products. Many of them made in Britain and fair trade where imported. The reason I do it is that I've been interested in the environment since my teens. Never before now had the opportunity to work in any sort of environmental field, although I've been a member of many organisations for a long time. And it's a way of making a difference in a small way.
What does the difference involve that you do personally with your work?
I hope I make people think about the footprint they leave on the earth. I've got my strapline is helping us tread more lightly on our beautiful planet Earth, which I think says it all, really. I just think that people don't necessarily need to make wholesale changes, which can be very disruptive, and change their shopping habits bit by bit. In a fairly short space of time, they find their general environmental footprint much reduced.
Tell me about the sorts of ways that the products that you sell or the way that you work help to just make that little bit of a difference.
Well, my products are across the board: household, personal care, baby care, so really it covers most things. And we have a few things like pond care treatments, which are non-pollutant and better for the wildlife that you find in your pond. So really we can help in all sorts of ways. We do have a catalogue, but there's much more in my websites than we could possibly print in a catalogue, because we've got about 1,000 products, I believe. It's a network marketing company, which means that we're team-based. Think Avon and things like that. But it's not a very aggressive network marketing business like some are. It's very low-key. We each do what we want to do. No one's pressurising us to sell more. So I've built quite a strong team now of some really brilliant people from different walks of life that bring different attitudes and likes to the business. It appeals to all sorts of people. Some of them may not have really thought about the environment, but they don't like or can't tolerate, say, skincare that is unhealthy.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
We have some lovely product ranges, some fairly well known, such as Faith in Nature, and some more niche products. And they're very popular. They do the job, and people love using them. I really like the Faith in Nature range for shower gels and skincare. One of our best-selling products is the EcoEgg laundry ball, which uses no detergent at all. So it saves an awful lot of money in the long run, as well as being eco-friendly. The top seller of that is unfortunately discontinued, the one that does the most washes, but we have an equivalent product from another highly thought-of company now coming on stream. So that is what I'm going to be promoting in the near future.
So how does a washing ball for the washing machine work without detergent? That's curious.
Well, it works on friction. It contains mineral balls, which I think one set lifts the dirt off and another carries it away, in broad terms. I'm no scientist, but I describe it to people as the modern day equivalent of going down to the river and bashing your clothes on the rocks to wash them.
Absolutely, and that's indeed what our grandmothers would have done, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Tell me about your interest in organic things in general, or saving the environment.
Well, it has to be the way to go. I think pesticides and fertilisers, they have their uses, but they've been overused. They go into our watercourses as well as damaging human and plant and animal health. Well, I've never gardened with chemicals, even when I was less organic conscious than I am now. They're damaging to the environment. They get into our watercourses, not healthy for humans, whether they're the people applying them or eating the end product, or animals, wildlife. Even glyphosate, which I remember being touted as a totally harmless weed killer when it first came out, has proved to be very dangerous in the long term. And it's used in so much. It's including a final drenching of the wheat crop that goes into our bread and flour. And it's believed, it's quite possible that is where the recent rise in gluten intolerance has come from. It's not strictly the gluten, but to do with the glyphosate. So I've always adopted, I suppose you'd call it, the precautionary principle myself. Why take the risk? So I'm a long-term member of our local organic garden society, and we pick up all sorts of useful hints and tips there. And gradually, the most dangerous things are going off the market. So unless you've still got a tin of poison in your shed or something, then we can't just use them. It's got to be good.
And as you know, Diana, I really appreciate your real air of serenity. This is something that I really appreciate about you. And from what I hear, you really are being that change with how you are, how you respect the earth, the animals, the products, the human body, the things that we use. All of that really seems like it's in alignment with your way of being.
Yes, I believe that's true. And I'm trying to get into more writing now as well, partly as kind of the tail end of my social media marketing business. I really wanted to focus on the writing, and so I'm starting to write more on environmental issues. So that hoping to be for that to be a paying business as well as just doing it for fun, not for information.
That's really exciting, and not many people know that about you, that
Yeah.
this marketing background. So tell me a bit about that.
Well, I started out as a librarian, mostly in the business and the educational sector. That came to an end at a point where the office I was working in was going to move to, I was in London and they were moving to the outskirts. And the job market was quite thin at the time, and I was caught by an ad for a computer programming course. So I went and did the aptitude test and won a place on that, and pursued that for a few years. Really enjoyed writing software, coding as we call it now. And that was really good. Then the kind of stresses of the preparing for the year 2000 so-called bug got to me. It wasn't really an issue, but it was a lot of things around it just got to me, and I bailed out of that for a while. And then when I was ready to go back to work, I started doing some admin temping locally. We were living in Chichester, as we are now by then. That took me into the European HQ of the big publishers, and I got a permanent job with them in the marketing department. So I never did any marketing exams. I'd had enough exams by then, and but I did a lot of marketing support and working on campaigns. And just as our whole department was made redundant because they offshored the work to Singapore, we were given a small training budget for those of us who wanted to become self-employed. So I went and learnt social media marketing, and really loved it. Part of the reason for self-employment, which I'd never remotely considered before, was simply that my age was against me. Salaries in this area are actually very low, despite being a wealthy area. And I thought if I was going to get a full-time job earning peanuts, I might as well become self-employed, enjoy myself, and maybe still earn peanuts, but on my terms. So then I jogged along quite happily doing that for a while, and started networking, which is another thing I never imagined myself doing, but discovered I really loved it. And I met the guy who became my sponsor in this business a year or so later, and wasn't ready to join yet because I was just launching social media, but maybe a year after that I did join, and it was very much a second string to this social media marketing for a while, and then gradually the balance tipped and I went to the product side of things. I did do some work in the environmental field while doing social media, small local food businesses. I launched social media for an organic smallholding nearby, and also a farm shop in the area. and a company selling at that time notebooks that they made from the stubble from the wheat fields. I'll go back to the wheat subject again, because they used to burn stubble, as you probably know. But stubble's considered a waste product. So where I could get something related to my own interests, I did.
So who knew that you started off being a librarian, then you're a computer programmer, then marketing and social media marketing, and all the while you've been a peaceful eco warrior.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So many strings to your bow.
Yeah. Yes.
And the wonderful thing is they all have something to do with each other. They're all relevant, and
yes.
all of those skills and abilities and gifts of interest have informed the way that I see that you're a very inspirational and very gentle leader. It's what in leadership they call leading from behind, actually. And how the company that you work for and your own step by step, your own way of working is very gentle and very nurturing.
Yeah, it's funny that I've never considered myself a leader in any capacity. I never went for any, say, team leading jobs when I was employed. No, nothing line managerial. So some supervision trainees and things like that, but never any big supervisory role.
Then ironically, within your team, you were saying that you work with people within your team and you guide and support them to at whatever rate they want to.
Exactly, yes. It's on the basis that, if you like, my door is always open. Please come to me if you have any problems. I'll support you any way I can, but you run this how you want to. And we have people doing all sorts of different things. Some people take catalogues door to door, which requires an awful lot of persistence before you can build up a round, but it's worth doing if you can. One of my great team members does a lot of events, and of course she's missing that this year. She's just got her first event coming up next week. I myself didn't really want to do events, but recently a lot of environment related ones have started mushrooming, and again I've not been able to do those this year. They've all been falling like dominoes. A new recruit to the team is a former milkman, and he's setting up his own delivery round of milk and food products, and he wanted something eco-friendly to go with that. So yes, it takes all sorts.
And then, so if I was interested, for example, in the opportunity, what would you say? What would you speak to that? What's in it? What's the deal?
Well, the practicalities are that it's a very low entry cost. Again, unlike some network marketing businesses, we pay £25 to join. We don't pay for a big package of goods. That's just our joining fee, and then it's another £5 a month for the website and the maintenance of it and all the admin that goes with it. The company is family run, and they're very, very supportive as well. If there's a question I can't answer, then the two people that own the company will always help. They're very helpful. They're very receptive to new product ideas as well. But going back to my own team, then as I say, I have a softly approach, but always try to make sure that no one's feeling left out or left behind. The great advantage, again, of being a non-pressurised company is that we all need to take a time out from things at times for whatever reason. And so the current COVID situation can go either way. Some people need something to earn some money and to maybe get some more structure into their lives. Other people have family they have to care for and have to dip out for a while.
I just love your softly approach, and that's great. £25. I mean, because I was half considering myself joining a networking company, but it's £200, which is a lot.
It's a huge gamble, isn't it? And a lot of people just can't find that kind of money.
Exactly. Even if it's a gorgeous business and an amazing product. I mean, I love the product and I use it all the time. But But this is really doable, actually. This is very, very intriguing. And then, of course, websites take so much admin and maintenance. So £5 a month is really reasonable. And
Yeah.
I love that it's family run. And
Yes, it was started by a couple who did very well in utility warehouse, and then retired, decided they didn't like sitting around the pool in Spain full time quite as much as they thought they would, and decided to set up an eco company. And now they have retired, although I suspect they're still very busy. And they passed it on to their daughter and her husband. They've got a young family, so they know all the issues that the teams are likely to face, and as I say, they're just so positive and so supportive. And they take a hard-nosed attitude to the products themselves. If something isn't going to sell, they won't take it, or if it doesn't sell, they'll discontinue it.
well, that's really exciting. So my mind and my thoughts gently drift over to the subject of chocolate. So with in terms of
Well, doesn't it always?
yeah. So which chocolates do? So this is really good that they discontinue products that are not selling, and they bring forth. So which sorts of chocolates do you sell?
We have two brands. One is Conscious Chocolate Company, and they're very complementary, really, because the Conscious Chocolate is very intense, and it's for the lovers of dark chocolate, which I'm sure is you, yes. And some unusual flavours. There's a sour cherry, which I really love. And the other brand is called the Raw Chocolate Company. Both of them are raw chocolates. And they will have some flavours there that appeal more to the people who like milk chocolate, but they actually are all vegan. And most of our products are. And there's also a tick box on the website so that you can tick vegan, and nothing that isn't would come up. We sell them some lovely sort of pouches of things like raisins and almonds, chocolate covered.
Do you know what's really funny? I'm deciding to join your team as I'm asking you questions. Does this mean?
God, I would so love to have you.
Does this mean that I can get the Raw Chocolate Company is actually one of my favourite raw chocolate. I like it because it's local. I think they're just outside Brighton. Does this mean I could get that for myself a little bit cheaper, possibly? Would as a consultant get the
yes?
Oh, how? Wow! What's not to like, Diana?
Well, the discount to distributors is sort of, if you think in terms of 25 to 33%, it depends on the profitability of the product. It is very good. I certainly advise my new team members to order a few products they think they'll like and sell and will use themselves, because obviously you can talk authentically to other people about the ones that you've tried yourself. I try to be honest when I haven't, because there are just some things that aren't relevant to me, or I've still got supply of an old one or something like that. So, but I would say if I've had good feedback from other people, I'd pass that on.
I'd like to join. So if I wanted to join, which actually I do, what would I have to do? Walk me through those steps.
You would look at the, I think it's called Become a Distributor tab on my website. I could walk you through the technicalities, or you could read it for yourself. Well, I would advise you read it for yourself anyway. And it's a simple join-up process. You would go through the process and put in my name as your sponsor, as we call it. We don't like words like that line. And take it from there. And then you would find almost immediately you paid your joining fee. You've got your own website right there to order through.
Well, that's really exciting. And you would take me through each step, step by step, very gently. You take me through those steps. Well, I really think this is a very high value proposition, actually, that you're offering. So either to join you as a team member with your gentle kindness, sponsoring and guiding us, I would love that myself personally, or to order the products directly. So those two web links, we will of course put them under this video.
Yes, I mean, as we do have team members joining just to buy the products more cheaply, and that's absolutely fine. And it's good for businesses like salons and holistic practitioners as well, because they can use cleaning products and toiletries that they know are not harmful in any way.
Well, that's That's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful. Very exciting. Wow.
Mm. Yes, and with things winding down generally for August, even in this strange year, then I hope to be able to devote some more time to that.
And there's so much talk, isn't there, about plastic free and going to the local shop and getting the refills. So what would you say about plastic versus glass? Is all plastic bad? Is all plastic made equally?
Yeah. Well, firstly, that's something else that we do offer, 5-litre containers of some cleaning and toiletries. So our distributors can offer a refill service to their local friends and neighbours, and buy them just themselves to save even more money. But I'm not as militantly anti-plastic as some people. Plastic serves a purpose. It's the single-use side of things that's such a problem. I'm a coordinator of the local refill scheme, which has been rather on the back burner recently because cafes and so on were closed. But if you look up the blue round labels on cafe doors, it means that you can get your own water bottle refill there. And even if you had to buy disposable plastic on the day, you can at least get it topped up. But in terms of plastic, what I mean to say is that it has so many uses. I've got a lot of plastic containers in my kitchen cupboards and elsewhere, and they last for years and years. They're mostly quite robust. And I've heard of people just throwing out all their plastic to put things in jars and things, and really, what's the point? Even sending them to landfill, I think, has been happening again. It's just a very silly thing to do.
Exactly. So really what you're saying is you're just inviting people just to consider and think all about the lifeline perhaps of this item and choose what's the most sustainable pathway that's
Yes, the EcoEggs I mentioned before, the refills that you put in from time to time, the little bags of mineral balls, they come in a kind of plastic bag, and really, I had a couple that sort of opened the box and went through it and said, "Look, this is all plastic," at one event, and I really thought, well, for something that's going to last 720 washes, does it really matter? They have to put them in something.
Absolutely, and I really appreciate your path of balance, the middle ground,
Yes.
isn't it? We can't change all the world today, but we can take gentle steps, eco-friendly steps, kindful steps towards that end and really use what we have. You're just letting people know there are options. There's always options with everything. We don't have to chuck all the plastic and all of the containers out today and replace, but just gently, there's always one more step that we can do.
That's right.
It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, Diana, as always, and I'm really, really happy. I feel really, really good that people are going to be able to get to know you in a deeper way, because I think you bring so much depth of personal experience, belief, and value to the way that you work and to how you work and to what you sell and to how you work with your team. So I really think you're doing things very, very well.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And thank you so much for having such a wonderful integrity with how you work. I really appreciate that. I think especially since the lockdown, since everything went all a bit topsy-turvy, I think it's working practices and retail practices such as these that will stand out.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.